carbureted bikes. So why the hell am I riding a 2004 Ninja T50 that's like totally dilapidated, held together by zip ties, and is probably going to kill me? Well, I'm wondering the same thing. My coworker actually just gave me his bike. He got a new Honda CB500F, and he seems to really like it, and this was at his old apartment. He was just moving apartments, and he's like, hey, just take my bike because it doesn't run. I don't know what's wrong with it, and I need to get out of there, you know, within a few days. And I'm like, sweet, okay. I'm without a bike right now. My R1150 GS transmission's shot. Just spewed a bunch of oil over the dry clutch after I literally replaced it 2 days beforehand. So that's going to be costly, and I'm probably going to get rid of that bike too. With that said, I'm going to sell this bike as soon as possible too, when it stops making sense as a commuter bike. But it's actually pretty fun to ride, and it's actually pretty cool to get back on a sport bike sort of style seating position. I'm going 30 right now. Utterly ridiculous. So this bike on the highway, it's pretty bad. It's a parallel twin. It's not like as bad as it would be as if it was a single cylinder, but it's pretty bad. It's lightweight, which is really bad for the wind. It doesn't like to track in a straight line because it's got more of a sport bike rake angle to the fork. You're not as tall, people don't see you as much. It's hard to really have any good light to really show yourself to other people. It's just like, and it, you know, winds out at 80 miles per hour. Actually, it's not bad. You know, 80 miles per hour right now with at $9,000 for their bike that revs out at or redlines at $13,000 really isn't terrible. It's doable. I mean, it's doing it right now. I'll tell you what though, groove pavement and shit, that really kind of starts to scare you. Gusts of wind, oh my god. When it's like gusty at all, and I try to do anything on this bike on the highway, yeah, forget about it. I am all over the place. It's not cool. It's kind of nice to get back on a bike like this to really appreciate how much displacement has to do with riding. It's also just really good practice in the sense that I don't get to ride bikes like this often. And it's really just a different riding style, right? Like you really have to actually lean into the turns. You're kind of doing more of a push-pull with the handlebars than you are just pushing one way and counter steering. It really brings you back to the roots, and it's kind of a good feeling. Tell you what, lane splitting isn't as bad. People don't hear you still, or see you rather, but from my high beam on. Yeah, I don't know, it's not nearly as bad as the GS, obviously, but the thing I like about the GS and the tall bikes like that is you can see over cars, and your headlights and your auxiliary lights are like right at everyone's eye level in cars, and so they can see you coming up, and it's, you know, they tend to move out of your way a little more, you know, respect you a little more, I guess. So what have I done to this bike to get it running? Well, I got it, there was just no battery in it at all. Like, my coworker said that the battery was dead, but I think he had it outside of the bike charging or something. Because when I got it, there was nothing in there. So new battery was about like 70 bucks charged, gel battery. That's actually not what I wanted to do. I wanted to just get like a super cheap lead acid one, but that's actually all they had at one of the shops that was still open on a Sunday. So kudos to SF Moto. Kudos to SF Moto. Kudos. Oh man, this thing is gutless. But that's pretty good. As a starter bike, would I choose this? Absolutely. Like if I was gonna get a bike like this, you know, if I wanted to stick with like a sport bike style, I would get this for sure. You can get one of these super cheap. You can pick one up like this that's just totally beat up. It's everyone's first bike, clearly. Zip ties holding everything together. Just plenty of scratches so you don't feel bad when you drop it. Yeah, I would do it. I mean, shit, you get super good gas mileage on this thing too. You're barely burning anything. It might even be a good commuter bike for all that I care. As long as you're not on the highway for very long. A little foggy today in San Francisco. What's new? There's the Salesforce Tower, just standing above the rest of the city. Still not finished yet. I think they ran out of glass to finish the top of that thing. That's how opulent that freaking place is. I should really get this thing in the twisties while I have it, and just really get to practice riding a bike properly. Or rather, not so much properly, but more so just riding this style of bike and figuring it out again. I want to believe this bike is a comp magnet, just because of what you're riding, but I guess if you're wearing all of the gear and you don't look like an absolute squid, then maybe they'll respect you a little more too. I mean, you can just split through like anything on this thing. It's pretty awesome. Hell, maybe I need a commuter bike. Come on. Still got a green. You know, the more I think about it, this might actually be a really good commuter bike. Keep miles off my actual bike and just go along with that. Honestly, I can only really afford one bike. Now I think about it, you know, you have insurance costs, you have to register this thing every year, or you know, for California specifically. Yeah, I mean, I could see it working okay. For gas alone, I mean, my GS is only getting about maybe 40 miles per gallon max, which, you know, sounds great if you're in a car, but on a motorcycle, it's really not super great. This thing you can stretch out to 70 if you ride it generally, which is insane. Oh right, I forgot to tell you what I did to fix this bike. Yeah, so the battery, also just put some new spark plugs in it because they were really cheap and like it definitely needed them when I looked at them. So that wasn't too bad. You just gotta pull the tank for that and it doesn't take too long once you figure it out. Interestingly enough, I pulled this screw on this fairing here and gas started rushing out of the tank, which is really sketchy. But otherwise, it's not bad. Yeah, and then I think it just had some bad gas in it. It was sitting for a while. You know, California gas is like some of the worst gas ever with all the ethanol. Yeah, it's no bueno for a carbureted bike. So I drained the carb float bowls and that was about all it needed. Seemed to be happy and start right up once I did that. For a city bike, it's perfect, right? Like, you don't need a whole shit ton of power. And honestly, revving it a little more to get out of people's way and stuff, it makes it a little louder. People start hearing you. You don't need to use your horn. I should probably check if this horn works. Alright, well that's it for today. Just wanted to go over a few updates and keep you in the loop. I do have some stuff in progress in terms of editing video and whatnot. I got to make another video for ADV Tracks. I have a video from when I took my 1150 GS off-road on Metcalf OHV. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably not going to produce a whole lot of content in the meantime just because it's so much money I'm throwing at everything and I gotta just not spend money. So yeah, I'm not gonna get any expensive camera gear like I said I might anytime soon. Again, thanks for watching. Ooh, F800 GS. That might be my next bike, who knows. Yeah, thanks for watching and take care everyone, ride safe, and keep rapping.